this tutorial today we'll be painting some colourful seashells using a fun wet into wet watercolour technique. This is an easy summer project and a perfect introduction for those of you that are new to the colour sheets, as you can experiment and play around with the vibrant colours. The supplies you'll need are the Viviva colour sheets, watercolour paper, a sketching pencil, brushes, water, a waterproof black fine liner and a white paint pen. You can of course substitute any of the supplies with ones you already have at home. We are going to start with sketching out the shells, breaking down each into larger shapes and then adding in the details afterwards. Using a waterproof fine liner, we can now work on the outlines, simply tracing over the pencil lines from earlier. If you don't have a waterproof pen, you can always outline the drawings after the painting step. To add a little extra touch to the shells, you can go around the outer edge of each shell again to bulk up the line. Once finished, rub out the pencil lines and we can now move on to the watercolour. To begin the painting, start by brushing a layer of water inside the first shell. Fill the entire shape and try to avoid going outside the lines, as the paint will flow wherever the water is. Then dab in some colours. This is the fun part where you can explore the colour palette and try out some different combinations. All the colours are very vibrant and saturated, so you only need a tiny bit on your brush. You don't need to scrub your brush on the colour sheet, just gently pick up a little bit of the pigment and drop it into the wet layer of water. Sticking to 2 or 3 colours per shell is a good idea, and that will help to prevent making mud with too many different colours. It is also useful to space the colours out when you drop them into the shells. How much the colours will spread will depend on your paper and the amount of water added, but keeping the colours separate as you drop them in will help to prevent them from all merging together. After you've added in your colours, you can go around the edge of the shell with a small brush and make sure the paint is reaching out to the outer line, as there are often a few gaps. You can also go in with a brush and a little clean water to assist with the blending of the colours or helping to fill in any white patches. The paint will spread out as it dries, but sometimes it needs a little extra help. If you feel that you have not added in enough colour, you can add more if needed into the wet paint. Just add a little bit at a time, as a large blob of pigment could take over the entire shape. If you add in too much water or paint, you can dab up any of the excess with a paper towel. Once the first layer is dry, we can now add in a few shadows. For the shadows, we are going to use the mixing palette that comes with the colour sheets to prepare the paint. You can also use a separate mixing palette if you like. To prepare the paint for this step, we're simply going to mix some of the pigment with a little bit of water on the palette. Picking up a little bit of this watered down pigment on the brush, we're going to add in a shadow line. For the most part, the shadow lines will follow the inside lines of the shells. Not the outside lines, but paint along the inside lines of the shapes. These shadow lines will give the shells a bit of 3-dimension. Once finished, you can either leave the paint on the palette for next time or simply wipe it off. The palette has a coating, so you'll be able to clean the paint off easily. Don't forget to also let the paint in the colour sheets dry for a few minutes before putting it away. The final step for our painting is to add in a few highlights with the white paint pen. You can add various dots and lines into the shells. You can also add in some sparkles if you wish. And there you have a page of colourful seashells. Thanks for watching and happy painting!